Hello students, I'm Anita Abraham, Associate Professor of English. Welcome to the English classroom. This is video number 14. Today's English lesson is from semester 2, unit 4 of the General English curriculum prescribed by Osmania University for students of BA, BCom, BSc and BBA. Today's topic from Unit 4 is titled Soft Skills, Etiquette and Grooming. If you like my video, please subscribe and press the bell icon so that you get notified of subsequent videos. Let's get started. Etiquette and grooming, that's our topic for today. And students, we must realize how important nonverbal communication is. All the time we are concentrating on verbal communication because we are told that if we speak well, if we communicate well, then we make a good impression and we will succeed in life, and that's how we are judged by others, and we will be successful both in our personal and in our professional lives. But we have seen how important non-verbal communication is, and it is more than 70% of the communication that actually happens. Okay, so of the various components of non-verbal communication, etiquette and grooming is of vital importance, and both in our personal lives and in our professional lives. And we will use the word professional life in a extended way, and it means in your student life too. Okay, so to succeed, it is very important that we have good etiquette and grooming. Okay, so let's look at what is uh, etiquette and grooming and how we can inculcate these skills so that it becomes part of our lives and it comes unconsciously to us, and we are projecting ourselves with confidence, and we make good impression and we succeed in life. Let's look at some of the varied factors that goes into etiquette and grooming. Look at some of the things: building better relationship, which fork or spoon to use in your salad or while you're eating, presenting yourself in a positive way, communicating effectively with others, being a successful leader or a team player, knowing what to do when and how to share with others, using the right words in correspondence while you're writing, whether it's an email or a letter or a report or even minutes of a meeting, or even verbal communication. Okay, so and also balancing your life, your personal life and your professional life, your home life at home and your student life of life at work. So look at all the varied factors that are dependent on etiquette and grooming. If you look at this list, I just put a few things in. It shows that etiquette and grooming plays an important role in every aspect of our life. So let's look at what is etiquette and good manners, and then we will look at what goes into grooming. Okay, good manners come from within and does not change. So you're naturally well mannered. Okay, etiquettes are rules that are external from outside. Okay, and they come into play depending on the place, the situation, the context in which you are, and the type of interaction and communication that you have to execute. Okay, so good manners, it depends on your upbringing, it depends on your nature, it depends on the people around you and your personality. So unconsciously and consciously how to behave in situation. That's good manners. But etiquette is different. This is a set of external rules. Okay, and it depends, it varies from context to context, and what kind of communication and interaction is taking place. For example, it can be formal, it can be informal. You may be interacting with your parents, then the etiquette that you would use, the set of rules that you would use for interaction and communication is different. The etiquette and set of rules of communication will be different when you're with friends. In college it would be different with your professors, or at your workplace, depending on if you're dealing with your co-workers, it would be a set of etiquette. If it is with your higher ups or your bosses, it would be another set of etiquette. So it's very important. Just because I'm well mannered or I have good manners doesn't necessarily mean that I have the required etiquette to transact in the required personal, social, or professional context. So that is why knowing the right etiquette and using it at the right place is very important. Let's talk about it from a business perspective and then relate it also to our personal context. Okay, success in keeping and advancing in a job depends 85% on people skills and only 15% on technical knowledge and skills. So this is another statistics that has come up. Earlier it was, you remember, verbal skills are just 23% and non-verbal is 77, or some people say that it is 30 verbal communication and 70 is non-verbal communication. Grooming and etiquette comes under verbal communication. And what happens with etiquette and grooming when you're concentrating and developing it is your people skills increase, it gets enhanced, and you people like you because you're making the right impression with people because of your etiquette, because you know the right rules of behavior in the right context, and you are well groomed, you're presenting yourself well, so you are accepted readily in various situations. And knowing the accepted way of doing things, what to say, how to dress, how to react to various situations is of vital importance. That is etiquette. Knowing the accepted way of doing things, what to say, when to say, how to dress, how to present yourself, how to react to various situations. All this falls under the umbrella of etiquette. Okay. Management values matter at the workplace. Okay. So these values, how you manage yourself, is very, very important, whether it's in your personal life or at your workplace. And it's said that just give me a minute, that career-minded executives or professionals, are finding a connection between civility and success. If you're polite, if you're well-mannered, you have the right, etiquette, the right way of doing things, if you know, then you're highly successful. And transport it to your personal life, if you do the right things in the right way, you're also successful in your personal life. If you're polite with your parents, if you say the right things, you do the right things, you present yourself well, whether it's with your parents, with your grandparents, with your friends, with your relatives, with strangers, you find that you are successful, because you make a good impression and people like you. And that's what happens when you have the right etiquette and grooming. Okay. What is a professional image, or what is this positive professional image, and we will extend it to the personal also. There are four attributes to professional image. First is appropriate business appearance. That is, you should be presented well. You cannot be unprofessional in the way you appear, because nobody will take you seriously. And then use the correct manners and etiquette, the right, you do the right things at the right time in the right way. And then appropriate personal behavior. See, you should know how to behave with people in various contexts. And then effective communication is both verbal and non-verbal. Okay, what does it involve, this professional image? And I will extend it to personal image also, because it applies to both the personal image that a person needs to have, and then at your workplace or for example, for you all as a student in college, the image that you need to have, the professional image. That is, you need to present yourself well, both at home and at the workplace or in college or in with strangers. You need to come through as a very positive, dignified person. You should have good manners. You should be polite and courteous. It cannot be that you are rude to your parents at home and you are very friendly and very courteous with your professors. This double standard doesn't work. You should be courteous with everybody. Then respecting others and maintaining decorum. You should behave in the proper way in the proper situation, okay? And then being comfortable around others. You should, be a people's person. You should have good interpersonal skills. You should be able to mingle with others. Yes, some of us are extroverts. It's very easy for us to get along with people. Some of us are introverts. It's not easy for us to mingle with people, mix with people. But we must make an effort so that, we come through not as snobbish, not as standoffish, but, as somebody very calm and quiet, but friendly at the same time. And also, you should have this ability to make people around you comfortable. Not only being comfortable around other people, but also make other people comfortable around. You should be a good team player and a good team leader at the same time. You should make a good impression on people around you. And then the very important, there should not be any gender issues or bias, and especially in the Indian context, where we are a patriarchal society. We are brought up in certain ways, but then that doesn't, it's not accepted. Everybody, both men and women, girls and boys, they have their individuality, they have their identity, and we cannot have any bias or issues based on gender and uh, on gender, and even on class, caste, creed, religion. I would extend that. You cannot bring these kind of dynamics into your interactions, because that will give a very bad impression to people. Okay, so what is professional etiquette or personal etiquette? We just saw that. And why is it important? It is because you only have one opportunity to make a first good impression. Okay, so once an impression is formed, then it just continues. And if you have to undo that, if somebody has a bad impression about you, then to undo that takes a lot of time. And if somebody has formed a good impression about you, to undo that also takes a long time, because people keep saying, oh no, he's a nice person, she's a nice person. No, that's not my impression of that person, because once that impression is set, then it remains with the other person. So it's very important that we concentrate on etiquette, the way we interact with people in the right way, based on context, based on situation, and how we are groomed, how we present ourselves, so that we are making the right impression both in our personal and professional life, so that it stays with us and it helps us to grow. Okay, now let's look at why first impressions are important, and hence etiquette and grooming is important. Research shows that within the first 30 seconds, people judge us on our emotion, on our education level, social position, level of sophistication, and level of success. 30 seconds is just me looking at you or you looking at me. So you have already made this impression about our education, about our social position, about our sophistication, and the level of success based on our physical appearance, or the way we are groomed, the way we are presented ourselves, or the way we are interacting in that context. Our etiquette will give that help the others make that impression. Now, in the next 4 minutes, people decide on these things about you, about your personality, your trustworthiness, your compassion, your reliability, your intelligence, your capability, your humility, your friendliness, and confidence. all this in 4.5 minutes based on your etiquette and your grooming. People make all these kinds of judgments. So that's why we say non-verbal communication is important. And in non-verbal communication, grooming and etiquette is very, very important. So now let's look at the ABC of image. Okay, so what is A? A is how you is appearance. It doesn't mean physical beauty. Okay, it doesn't mean your physical beauty. It means appearance, how you are presenting yourself. Okay, the color of the clothes that you wear, the wardrobe. Okay, and the grooming, how your your personal hygiene and the personal cleanliness that you are exhibiting. The B would be behavior, that is etiquette, the right way to carry yourself in the right context, okay, situation, your civility, that is your politeness, your courteousness, and your attitude. What kind of attitude? Positive attitude, okay, you are being friendly. What kind of attitude are you conveying to the people around you? And then, of course, the C is communication, verbal and non-verbal. So all this, the A, B, and C of image, comes through our etiquette and our grooming. So it is very important that we concentrate on it. Okay. Now let's look at what goes into business etiquette, some of the things that we need to take care of. Of course, the first is the attire, the clothes that you wear. Okay, that should be professional. You cannot wear casuals to a professional situation, and you cannot be suited and booted or dressed up formally for an informal situation. So we need to dress appropriately. Introductions are important, greetings are important, the name game, how you introduce yourself, how you introduce people around you to others. Titles, doctor, miss, mrs, sir, madam, those kind of titles are very important. Visitors, how you greet visitors, how you accept visitors, how you invite visitors. When you visit, what is the protocol, what is the kind of behavior etiquette that you need to follow. Opening, closing doors is important. This is how people are judging you. Okay, so these are important. Elevator etiquette is there. How you stand on the elevator, how what is how you open or close doors, who presses the button. You need to face the elevator. When you are standing in the elevator, you can't have your backs to anybody in the elevator. If you're holding anything, then you need to hold it at your thigh level, not against your chest or anything, and always looking. When you're looking, if obviously it will be strangers, you're not speaking to anyone, then you need to be looking at the floor, the buttons, so that you are getting off at the right place. So there are elevator ethics. Then smoking, a lot of youngsters smoke, a lot of people smoke. So what is the etiquette? Usually offices have a place where the smoke zones are there. You need to go take your smoke breaks there. Even if you are in a public place, it is not allowed. You should follow etiquette, and how you're disposing your cigarette butts, all these are very, very important. There is telephone etiquette, both landline etiquette and mobile etiquette, and the language, the verbal communication that happens. And then there is how you give and take business cards. All these go into um, you know uh, f- uh, forming an impression. And so we need to take care of all these things. We cannot take anything lightly or casually, because the first impression is the best impression, and you only get one chance to make a good impression. And also the business attire will depend. Okay, the clothes that you're wearing will depend on the environment, the type of occasion, the type of position that you are holding, and the kind of position of the people that you're going to interact with are holding. You need to take care of jewelry that you're wearing, both men and women, accessories, what you're wearing, bangles, bracelets, or watch, whatever, the kind of shoes you're wearing, both men and women, briefcase, bags. All these you need to carefully think this out, both in your personal life and in your professional life, but we are talking about workplace, college, because that's where you are constantly being judged, and the stakes are high, because it could mean getting a job, it could mean promotion, it could mean you are being evaluated. So it's very important that we take care of these things. Okay, now moving on to grooming. What is grooming? Personal grooming is important for a positive self image, and every effort must be made to maintain a pleasing and attractive appearance. So you need to groom, you need to take care of yourself so that you come across as a pleasing and attractive person. Attractive doesn't mean physical beauty. It is an inner beauty that comes, an inner impression, that an impression that you give people based on your the way you are presenting yourself. It comes from cleanliness and hygiene, basically. Okay, and based on your appearance, on your grooming, people can gauge you for your professionalism, your level of sophistication, your intelligence, and your credibility. So, if you're cleanly and neatly dressed and you're well groomed, your hair is in place, your nails are cut, you have taken a bath and dressed neatly, this conveys a lot to the people who are seeing you. And with that, look at the kind of opinions people form about you, your professionalism, your sophistication, the level of your intelligence. So you don't have to say that I have a gold medal in my PG, but just looking at you, they are able to judge how intelligent you are, and your credibility, your trustworthiness, because you have, when people see that you have taken such care to present yourself in a pleasing and attractive manner, then that's the kind of inputs that you will be putting for work or study or whatever it is that you are going to be doing with them. So it's very important to groom yourself and present yourself well. So when you're talking about personal grooming, we are talking about all aspects of our body. Okay, overall cleanliness from the tip to the toe, everything, okay, should be clean and neat. Hair, teeth, nail, clothes, makeup, okay, whatever that goes into providing you with a pleasing appearance goes into grooming. And it is not done for once in a while. It should be a daily habit. It should come naturally to us. Getting up in the morning, brushing our teeth, having our bath, doing those kind of things should come naturally. Ironing our clothes, wearing clean clothes, all that should come naturally. Nobody has to tell us to do it, or it's not once in a blue moon, a festival, or your mother or your warden pushing you to do it. It doesn't happen like that. It has to come naturally. It should be part of our existence. All right. We look at proper dressing for both men and women and what should go into it, because we find that as Indians, we are unable to make this distinction between how we dress in our personal lives and how we dress in our professional lives. We tend to overdress or underdress. So there is a professional image, and there is something you could do at home for a festival or a party, but that's not the way you will dress for your workplace. So it's very clear, you should be very clear how to maintain this distinction. So for your personal life, uh, for your parties, for your festivals, you can dress up the way you want, but for workplace, or for college, or for the university, there is a professional way that you need to dress, and so that's what I'll be concentrating on. You can, for women, you can have you can have a nice, attractive, modern hairstyle, but that doesn't mean you cut off your hair or anything. It can be neat, flat, whatever. It should be neat, okay, but nothing wild. And don't color your hair and things like that. It's very unprofessional. And then don't wear too much of accessories or jewelry, long earrings, that bangles that make a lot of noise, what do you call, anklets that make noise, because it distracts others. So not too much of accessories or jewelry. And wear very little perfume or no perfume. Just have your bath be clean and neat, because perfumes also, if it's very strong, it tends to create an unpleasant odor, because in our setup, we tend to sweat a lot because of our climate also, and we are not always in an air conditioned setup. So it's always better to wear a mild perfume or a body spray, because it should not make others around you uncomfortable. Okay, brush your teeth, use your mouth wash, don't chew gum, don't use a lot of makeup, and always wear clean ironed clothes. Okay, outfits, whatever is the dress that you're going to wear. Okay, always make sure, it doesn't mean you have to keep buying new clothes. What it means is wear clean clothes that are ironed and good. Okay, again, to continue, for women, clean and polish your nails with a soft color, or just keep it natural. But remember to clean your nails and polish your cut it, and okay, the same way with your shoes or slippers or whatever you're wearing, clean and polish it. Let there not be dirt and mud on it, because that's again important in the Indian context, because we don't take our footwear into the house. We leave it outside our house, most houses. So what happens is, we don't think it's important, because anyway it's outside the house, and so we dress up and then go out and then just wear that and go out, whether it's your shoes or whatever, slippers or whatever. So what happens is, it's dirty, it is not clean. But it is very important for us to clean our footwear too. And then always, if you're carrying a purse or a handbag, make sure that it matches. I know you cannot spend a lot of money, and when you're starting off and when you're at the entry level, but then carry muted colors, blacks, browns, beiges. It's very important that you send out a very professional image. Also carry conservative purses and briefcase. Even women carry briefcases, leather, what do you call, purses, and or your computer bags, whatever it is. No buckles, chains, bright colors. Go for browns, blacks, beiges. And also, things like, avoid things like tattoos and piercings and things like that, because it's not accepted at the workplace, especially when you are working in companies, multinationals, or you're teaching. You cannot do these kind of things. But then if you are working in, let's say, the entertainment industry, or you're working in the fashion industry, yes, in those contexts, these things are acceptable. So, depending on your workplace, the context that you are working, uh, dress up accordingly and appropriately. Similarly, when we are talking about proper dressing for men, always have clean and trimmed hair. Okay, no long hair and all. Again, that depends on where you're working. Supposing you're working in the entertainment industry, fashion industry, or modeling, yes, it works there, but not in a multinational, in teaching, or you're working in a bank or something like that. No, it's not acceptable, it's not professional. Always have a fresh shave, trim your facial hair, wear, again, like women, perfume. The cologne that men wear should be very mild, very little. Brushing teeth, mouthwash, very, very important. Never chew gum or smoke, and don't smoke in the car on the way to an interview, or if you're going to have a meeting. Always, you have the habit, then use a mouth spray. And you must remember that if you smoke and even use a mouth spray, the smoke stays on your clothes, so you will smell of smoke. So be very careful. Always wear pressed, ironed, clean clothes. Just like I told, for the women, it doesn't mean you're buying new clothes. What it means is you're wearing clean and neat clothes. Okay, and wear a fashionable but conservative tie. Never let it not be too bright and dramatic. Okay, if you are in the habit of wearing a tie, let it be conservative. Okay, and then Also, the way you tie, practice tying the knot, and make sure your collar is right for the, the tie. And also, it should, the tie and the buckle of your belt, there is this rule, so follow those kind of things, read up on these things, and make sure you are doing, presenting yourself. Again, the nails are very important. Boys will keep it short and keep it clean. No growing nails, not using nail polishes. Okay. Again, the shoes, the footwear. Uh, uh, Keep it clean, polish it, and then there is this rule that your shoe and your belt must match. So I always tell my students that, have a black pair of shoes and a black belt, a brown pair of shoes and a brown belt. That will take you initially. Then when get settled in your life, you can have as many shoes and as many belts as you want. Okay. Also, or when you're carrying a briefcase or a portfolio, make sure it's not colorful, make sure it's conservative, neat. Again, no tattoos and piercings for boys also, unless you are in that fashion industry, entertainment industry, modeling. In those kind of fields, it's acceptable, but not in many other fields. Okay. And then your shirt, when you're wearing it for work, should always be neutral color, preferably white, light blues, grays. Okay. Don't wear bright things unless, most multinationals have Fridays where they can wear casuals. Then yes, so depending on the policy of the workplace, where similarly in your personal life also, adjust according to the occasion that you are, you are dressing up for, or the kind of people that you're meeting, and dress appropriately. And also wear solid color socks that cover the whole shin and calf. Okay. So even the boys have to take care of the sock that they wear. Okay. And it should match with the shoe and the belt, so be very careful. And then it should be high, not showing your calf and your shin. So these are small things, but then this is essential for presenting yourself well. And because you are being judged constantly, you're being evaluated constantly, you are in the process of making impression on people around you, you're communicating verbally and non-verbally with people around you. So all these little things go into conveying a very positive and good impression about you to the others around you. And the next important thing is introductions. Okay. So as part of etiquette, and as part of etiquette, introductions are also very important. So it's always that persons of lower, or the juniors, are introduced to the seniors. Okay. So that is the etiquette that you have to follow, and you have to maintain eye contact with the people that you're being introduced to, and also give a bit of information about the people that you are introducing. So uh, this is Rakesh, or may I introduce Rakesh? He is working in our marketing team. So give a little information so that the other person has something to start off to continue the conversation with. Okay. And never forget to introduce a new person joining the group. Okay. So that's also an important etiquette. You cannot just leave a person unintroduced, or introduce yourself to that person and get the person to introduce himself or herself. Okay. And if required, introduce yourself promptly and appropriately. Okay. So that's very important. Don't jump in, and see the situation and introduce yourself. Okay. And then the next important thing is greetings. Whenever possible, you must stand while being introduced, or to greet someone. Okay. So if you're sitting, you must make an attempt to stand up when you are being introduced, or somebody is introducing, and when you are greeting someone. When someone is talking to you, stop what you're doing and give the person full attention. That is basic etiquette. You cannot multitask when somebody is talking to you. Okay. And shaking hands also is very important. It has to be firm. It comes with eye contact. It should be painless. You should not press the other person's hand and cause distress and pain to the other person. And always 2 or 3 pumps. You just shake it like that. You don't keep on shaking the hand vigorously and only with one hand. You don't do the clasping. You don't give one hand and then cover it with the other hand. You don't do that. Okay. So that is the etiquette for shaking hands. uh, Shaking hand etiquette, look at it. So everything has an etiquette, a rule. Okay. And these rules are external. So let's look at this once again, so it becomes clear how important etiquette is. Shaking hands comes with eye contact, so you need to make eye contact with the person whom you are shaking hands with. It should be firm, the shake hand, and but painless. You should only give 1 or 2 or 3 pumps. You should not shake the other person's hand vigorously, and you should only do it with one hand. Your other hand has no business in the shake hand. Okay, so this is etiquette. Now let's look at telephone etiquette. So while we are making telephone calls also, there is an etiquette, a rule in place, and we should be aware of that. Okay, so what's the first thing we do? We must identify ourselves and state the purpose of the call. So I'm making the call. I must say, I am Anita. May I speak to X? Okay, so you have to identify and why are you calling. Okay, greet the person appropriately. Okay, that's very, greeting is introduction, and greetings are important part of etiquette. Okay, do not talk loudly. At the same time, your speech should be clear. Okay. uh, you All this comes with practice. You must, your pitch, your tone, your pace should be pleasant, and should convey with clarity the message that you want to convey. So that comes with practice. So you need to do role plays, and you need to practice talking on the telephone, and check always if the other person is free to take your call. Are you free? Can I talk to you? So that kind of polite, courteous etiquette must be followed, because you are asking the person if they have the time to take your call. Okay, and pay attention and listen carefully. Active listening is very important, and always be polite when you are on the phone. Even though the conversation or the call may be unpleasant, you have to maintain the telephone etiquette of being polite. Okay, also have a pen and paper ready to take down any important information. Do not make the other person wait unnecessarily. Give me a second and then you disappear, or hold on and then you disappear. No, you cannot have the other person waiting unnecessarily. And the conversation always needs to be brief and precise in a work environment. And even personal conversation depends on whom you're speaking to. You can chat with your friend for an hour or whatever, but then still there are certain etiquettes that you need to follow. Okay, have value for your time and other person's time. Okay, so like we did time management. Time flies, time is precious, time is money. Okay, time and tide waits for none. So don't waste other person. That's why I said personal calls also. Try to keep it short. Yes, you can go on for some time, but not too long. Even mobile phone has its own etiquette, the usage. So it's very important when you can use mobile phones in the workplace or in your business. Understand how to leave an adequate voicemail. We did this earlier when we did the session on telephone etiquette. Check messages frequently on a daily basis, so that in case you have an important message, then you need to react to it in the proper time frame. Avoid using a restaurant, avoid using mobile phones in restaurants, movie theaters, or in a meeting, because it disturbs people. It's unacceptable behavior. And when you're on the mobile, limit your conversation when you are in close quarters with others. Okay, others did not know, and just say that I'm in a group, I will take the call later, and then just listen to what's important and cut off the call politely. Use a quiet voice, don't need to shout on the mobile phone, and always refrain from using the mobile when you are driving. Okay, that it's just not accepted that you use a mobile phone when you're driving, whether it's a two-wheeler, four-wheeler, or whatever. You cannot use the mobile. Similarly, like we have telephone etiquette and mobile etiquette, there is email etiquette also, because today's world we are always interacting with each other through emails, and it's an important form of communication, of correspondence. So we need to know what are the rules that go into the use of email. So just let's look at it. Email only those people whom your messages actually pertain to. Don't send mass or chain letters. Don't CC it to people, because only send the email to relevant people. Yes, you would, in your anxiousness, you want XYZ to know that you have sent out the mail. That's not necessary. Just email those who it is essential for. Okay. The MAIL has, we have divided it into points for you to remember. The mail etiquette: make it a point to respond to the message promptly. You need to check your emails frequently, and you need to respond immediately. So that is the M. The A is always use spell check and grammar check before sending out emails. Okay, make it brief and clear. Emails are not long letters. Okay, it is short, it should be brief, it should be clear. Use the spell check so that you're not making any spelling mistakes. Use the grammar check and then send it. Okay, so that's the A. The I is include your telephone number, your email, your contact details, so that the other person, in case they want to call you for something, then they can do that. Okay, they have your email address, but in case they want to speak to you over the phone, so then always include your telephone number at the bottom, your contact. Okay, so that they can contact you. And the L stands for learn that the email should be used for business rather than for personal use. Don't send anything that you wouldn't want to see in public. Okay, so don't use emails for personal. Of course, you can send to emails to your friends and all. What it means is, don't put in things in an email, because it is there in the web, in the internet, in the dark world of the internet, and it can be retrieved anytime. So be careful what you are sending on the email. Okay, so what you don't want the public to see, don't ever put it on the email. And then let's look at some meeting etiquette. Okay, so when you're going for a meeting, what is the rule? What are the rules? What should you be careful of? What is the, how should you behave? Okay, so that let's look at that. For a meeting, we should be well prepared. We should always arrive early. You cannot be late for a meeting. So if the meeting is scheduled for 3, then you should be there by 2:50, 2:55. Okay, have all the necessary documents, material that you would need, okay, for the meeting. And then keep your briefcase or your purse on the floor. Don't leave it on the table, don't leave it on your lap. It should be put on the floor next to you. And don't fiddle with stationaries. Don't draw, that is, with a pen. Don't play with a pen, pencil. It shows disinterest, it shows boredom. Okay, so that cannot be conveyed to the others, because people are evaluating you. You are, that's, you're being judged constantly. You are under the microscope, you are being observed by people. So give a good impression to people by being attentive, and don't doodle. A lot of people have the habit, they're getting bored, they're not interested, they take the pen and start making cartoons, drawings. Don't ever do that. If you're taking notes, yes. If you're jotting down important points, yes, but never doodle. Okay, and exhibit positive body language. Okay, never should your body language, or you should not convey that you are bored, you're disinterested. And always maintain proper posture. Sit straight, maintain eye contact, nod at frequently to show that you are part of the process, and that you are actively involved in the meeting. And when it is time for you to speak clearly and precisely. Don't take too much of time, and don't interrupt when the speaker is speaking or somebody else is speaking. Make sure that, and if you have to interrupt, then there is a way to do it very politely. Always use positive language, display good interpersonal and team skills. Okay, don't be aggressive, don't be argumentative, and always stick to the agenda and stick to the time. Okay, so these are very, very important etiquettes to be followed while one is attending a meeting. Then there are cubicle etiquettes too. That is, each one of us, if for example you are sharing the space, and you have a cubicle, you are given a little small place to work at your workplace. You stretch it to your room at home. Okay, so there are some etiquettes to be followed. Are you sharing it with someone, or do you have it on by yourself? So if you're sharing it with someone, then we should be very courteous, polite with and we should be very careful how we are sharing our space with the others. Like, you share your bedroom with your sibling, your brother, or you're sharing a study area, or how you share your classroom with your friends. All right, so there is an etiquette there. Now, let's look at the cubicle etiquette. The assumption is that we are given a small workstation or a workplace, and we have to follow certain etiquette. So, do not enter another person's cubicle or workstation unless you are invited. Don't interrupt someone who is on the telephone, okay, by using sign language or other means of communication. Think twice before interrupting anyone who is busy working or deep in thought. And also be aware that these cubicles are small and they don't have a roof. It's just the three sides, and it's a very flimsy. So how your voice projects. So when you are in your cubicle talking to somebody, or on the phone, project your voice quietly so that others don't get disturbed. Okay, speaker phones and cubicles don't go together. Okay, don't ever use your speaker phones when you're working in your workstation, and don't discuss confidential matters in a cubicle setting, because voice tends to carry, and then the important information can reach the wrong people, and it can be misused also. If you're using your hand, oh, I'm so sorry, let's look at. So those were the cubicle etiquettes, because that's again something that as Indians we have to be very aware of, because we don't have this concept of personal space. We just barge into other people's space. So it's okay in our homes, because that's our culture, that's our tradition. It's fine. But when we are working with others at the workplace, we must be sensitive to other cultures, other perspectives, opinions. Everybody has their own way of working. So it's very important that we don't step into someone's space, and that's very important in the workplace. Now, another is dining etiquette. That is when, what happens is, when you are working, you may have to meet people over lunch, over dinner, over tea. You could have, so dining etiquette, or how you behave when, or what are the rules when you are having your food, is also very, very important. We must use the cutlery, the spoon, the forks very correctly. You cannot have it in your hand and wave it around. You cannot make noise with your cutlery, your spoon, and your fork and your knives. The napkin that's given to you, you need to use it carefully. You have to read up how to do it. Okay, that's the only way to learn it, because in our homes we don't generally use it. So in the workplace you may end up using these things. So it's better that you read up. You need to dab use the napkin and dab your mouth very gently. And when you finish your meal, you have to leave it at the left side of the plate. So these rules, these are, important things that we need to pick up. You will pick up with time. Everybody learns, but then you should be aware of it. Never chew when with food with your mouth open. You have to close your mouth and chew your food, and they never talk while you are chewing your food. We need to sit straight and keep our elbows off the table. We have to eat slowly, never, however hungry you are, you cannot gobble your food, gulp your food down, never pick your teeth. These are small things when you listen to it, but then these are very important etiquettes that we must follow to give a good impression also. And if you are using your hand, because in India we tend to use our hands to eat our food, don't make it too messy. So be careful how when you're eating with your fingers. Don't eat noisily. Chewing, belching is not allowed. And if you're in a buffet, then don't overload your plate. Okay, it's not good manners to heap food on your plate. And then if you it's possible that you make mistakes, your spoon may fall down, or something may go wrong, but then react very calmly, apologize, and then just downplay the incident and just carry on, because all of us can make mistakes, and it's very difficult to remember all the different etiquettes that one has to follow. It will come with time, and after some time it will come naturally. In the beginning we need to be conscious and cultivate it, and once we imbibe it, all these things will become um, natural to us. Let's look at some mannerisms that we can avoid. Okay, certain things we have to learn, but certain things we can do away with. What are they? Biting our nails. Everybody has this habit of biting their nails when they are in stress. Bad eating habits. Okay, spilling food on the table, eating noisily, chewing loudly. All this we can practice and get rid of it. Spitting in public places, not obeying traffic rules. All these are bad mannerism, bad etiquette that we can get rid of, and then our lives become simpler because there are less things to learn. Ridiculing someone for their physical limitations or shortcomings, teasing somebody with the way they look or the way they dress. These are all bad manners. This is bad etiquette. Okay, littering, throwing things around. Okay, paper or whatever, your cigarette, you just chuck it. This is real bad habit. Smoking in at a prohibited place, because like I told you before, there are smoking zones. You need to go there and smoke. You cannot break rules. Interrupting others while talking, swearing and using bad language, because I see a lot of youngsters using certain words just because they think it's fashionable, but then using bad language or swearing is not acceptable. Okay, so if you are in the habit, you can try to avoid doing all these things. And then also misusing public places and property. Avoid doing that, because there are cameras all around, and you will get caught sometime or the other, and you're being observed, and it leaves such a bad impression. You can be well turned out, you can be well groomed, you can have the best etiquette, and others have a good impression, and then they find you misusing public place and public property, and there is a total breakdown of your professional personal image that you have cultivated and created, and damage control can never be done. And then lack of civic sense is totally unacceptable. So these are things that we can develop, and we should. These are things that we should not do. And if we are doing any of these things, then it is time that we got rid of it. And then concentrate on etiquettes or rules that are external that we must learn, and also concentrate on grooming, which should also come naturally to us. Okay, so let's quickly review what etiquette and grooming is and why it is important. Etiquette refers to being polite and courteous. It is considered the acceptable behavior in personal, work, or social situations. If we behave well and exhibit good manners and follow the rules that are acceptable in the context or situation, then people are likely to remember us in a very positive way, and we make a good impression on others, and we are on the way to success because we have the right etiquette. And grooming refers to personal cleanliness and hygiene, and how we appropriately we dress based on the situation that requires what kind of attire that we wear. It plays an important role in personal and work environment, and it is also important in how with regard to how we interact with people in both professional and personal settings. Okay, so students, we must realize etiquette and grooming are essential part of our non-verbal communication, and it is the most effective way to convey our confidence, our positivity, and communicate efficiently with others. I hope, students, that you have been able to understand how important etiquette and grooming is in our day-to-day life, as well as in our professional life, or in our student life. Okay, so do take time to cultivate the right etiquette for the right situation, and concentrate on personal hygiene and cleanliness. Concentrate on grooming and presenting yourself well. Thank you so much. Take care and stay safe.